How's it going, everybody? Ghost Anime here on day 7 of my 30-day filmmaking course that I'm taking. I hope everything's going good with all of y'all. Today's lesson wasn't really much of a lesson. It was about experimenting with your camera. And yes, I do know I put up 6 figures when I said 7. It's about ISO settings and shutter speed. So, I'm going to give examples of what all that does. The ISO setting is how sensitive the camera, is to light. The higher the ISO setting, the more, the brighter the picture gets. When you get about 1600 ISO setting, you can shoot at night pretty much. But the little thing is, the picture looks crap. It looks all grainy and blah. But the lower the setting, the better it gets. So when you're outside, bright sunny day, you're like 100, 200. You're indoors like I am right now, 800. At night, 1600. Shutter speed is how fast the camera is actually shooting the video. Movies are typically shot, in 24, frames per second. So when you get 24 frames per second, your shutter speed should be double that. So the closest thing we have for a film is 51. So that's what I'm currently shooting at. I'm shooting at high definition, 1080p, 24 frames per second, shooting at a 50 shutter speed. I have a 4.5 aperture. I have the aperture as wide as I can get this one to go. And I have an ISO of 800. Now, when you do the 50 frames per second, you're getting that motion blur. That's how our eyes naturally see things. But when you put a higher shutter speed, you start getting choppy kind of stuff because it's taking a faster picture every time. Example is like Saving Private Ryan. That's the best example. I'm pretty sure everybody's seen it. On D-Day, all that jittery and how it was real staticky almost and the way it was shown. It was higher shutter speed. I put the shutter speed at 60, so you probably won't be able to see too much. It's a little bit more smoother in the action because it's taking a lot more pictures. But let's try this. Okay, now I'm shooting at a shutter speed of 100. And especially if you pause it, you can actually see it probably looks a little bit weirder. You'll also notice that everything's a little darker because there's less light. Shooting a lot faster and it's letting less light in. And to counteract the less light going in for this 100 frame, I'm going to change the iOS setting from 800 to 1600. Now the iOS is at 1600, and as you can see, everything is a little bit more brighter, but everything becomes more grainy. It's like, eh. So let's try this. I'll show you. Okay, now I have put the camera ISO at 6400. Okay, and as you see, everything is bright, really bright, but it's going to be grainy, it's going to be grand, it's not going to be looking good, okay? The picture quality deteriorates. There's a little specks and stuff like that, especially if you zoom in. Now, I got the ISO at 6400. Let's put the shutter speed down back from 100 to 50 like it should be. Okay, now we're back to normal movie making quality right here. Except for the ISO is very, very high. Very bright. But that's pretty much the gist of a lot of this stuff. You can get online and figure out some of the stuff yourself. Do some research. If you have your own DSLR, play around with it. So, this is Ghost Anime, signing off. Have a nice day. Ride safe. Live the dream.